How you doing today, Urban?
Good. Looks like a good day to go flying. I'm Reverend Rahoi. I'm 99 years old. I was born in Upper Michigan in 1919. I first started flying in May of 1934. And I didn't get my pilot's license until in 37. I got my private license. I enlisted in the Army Air Corps in May of 1943. I flew B-17 bombers out of North Africa, and then we moved up into Italy. Before I went over, I wondered about flak, and it's quite a sensation, and you wonder if you're going to make it alive, but you just go on through and hope the heck you do. I came up to Alaska in July of 47 to fly a bush. To come up here, I bought a PA-12 Cub, and then put it on floats and flew to Seattle, and from Seattle up to Fairbanks. Took about 7 days. I came up to Fairbanks and joined Jim McGoffin and Al Wright and made Interior Airways. After that, I broke off and started my own flying business. I became a hunting guide, so I was flying hunters and fishermen, and I developed Ptarmigan Lake Lodge down in the mountains as part of my business. Flew in there in 1949 with a T-craft on floats. My cousin and the operations officer from the fighter squadron went down and spent a week there, and I came back home and then went back and got them the following weekend. And I liked the country, and it had a good appeal to me. So then in 51, I went out and got my A&E license in California, and came back in 51. The first thing I did when I got back was to go down and file on the land there. And in building the Ptarmigan Lake Lodge, the last 69 years I've flown over 4,000 flights in there. Well, in all the years I've been flying in Alaska, I've seen a lot of country, and I've seen a lot of wildlife and things that makes it life pleasant to be here. Prudhoe, Nome, Bethel, Southeast, Kenai, over in Barter Island. So if somebody's there, I've been there. Well, I've seen a lot of pretty country. I've seen some sites, that today you never see again, like the caribou herd up north. The caribou was hundreds of thousands of them. As far as you could see all directions, you'd see caribou. That was quite a sight. Some of the other sites, scenery sites you see are quite fantastic. Well, flying in Alaska in the old days it took a hell of a skill because we didn't have all these navigation aids that we have today. So either you know how to get around, or you didn't get there at all. It was kind of unique. When I flew up there over for the oil companies, I used to go up there and deadhead straight up, and I'd come right over to where I wanted to go every time. And at one time I went over it, and it wasn't there. They moved a week before I got there, and it snowed. Hell of a storm, and it covered it all up. And I thought, what the hell going on here?
Well, you had the fuel to fly back?
Oh yeah, I circled around a little while, tried to find it, I made some calls and I couldn't respond to nobody. So I just flew back, and then they told me, well, they forgot to tell me where they were. Well, I've flown in some pretty tough weather, and I made a couple of rescues in bad weather because nobody else wanted to go, and made the rescue. But you just got to know the country and recognize the ground objects. And my flying of Alaska, when I first started, I always looked at the trapper trails, because there's always cabins on the trapper trails. So if you go down, at least you got the shelter. And there's been people that when they got down to 50 below and they crashed, they died. That's the way I did it when I first come here. I'd follow them, find all them trails. And you fly 84 years, the story is that eventually you will have a crash. And I've had 3 major crashes in my life, but I was able to control myself and control the airplane, so that even though the airplanes were badly damaged, we all got out without a bruise. Skill is a big factor, I think, because if you don't hit the ground the right way and get minimum speed, chances are, the thing is, in my philosophy of flying, is if you panic, you're in trouble. So you want to keep calm all the time, never lose your calm, which I did in my accents. I never lost control of myself or got excited even. And I've flown into some rough air that was extremely rough, and the guy made a remark. He says, "You were calm as heck." I said, "Yeah, well, if I wasn't calm, we wouldn't be alive." I always wanted to fly fighters from World War II. So a few years ago, I went down and flew a P-51 in Orlando, Florida. A few years back, I got to fly a B-17, and when I got in that left seat, it felt like I actually never left it. And it was a sensational deal to fly again and do it all myself, take off, landing, everything. The guys down in the Yankee Air Museum down in Detroit there let me do it. I was amazed because they limit to 80 years old for flying this stuff. When I did that flight at B-17, I was 95. I had a stroke a year and a half ago, and I'm now residing in the Pioneers Home in Fairbanks, Alaska. Being here at the Pioneer Home is a reasonable place to live. It keeps you pretty well occupied if you want to be occupied, and what's called kind of keeps you a little healthier. I try to stay active daily by walking and exercise. 90, 791, 792, 793, 794, 795. What keeps me going after 99 years is my drive to do things and accomplish things and get things done in this world. Last week I got to go and race my vintage snow machine in a tired iron race. Yeah, I think I've won all the tired iron races except a couple of times when my sled broke down or the drive chain broke, so it let me down. My ultimate aim is to be flying at 100 and over. Enough of the bullshit, let's go flying. Claire.